Peace. Brother Bridge here with a bowl of sun moon. Today we're going to talk about the rainbow, the esoteric, occult meaning of the rainbow. Now, from off the rip, when you look at the rainbow, you notice that, okay, so the rainbow is the visible spectrum of light. Okay. You notice when you look at the rainbow, it's at the very top is red and at the bottom is violet. So it's inverted from when you're looking at the chakras. Okay. So in itself, the rainbow in itself denotes physicality. All right. The visible spectrum of light in the realm of the physical. Because when you look at the chakras, which show you how to achieve spiritual enlightenment, it goes from red to violet. It's easy to remember. Like when you were in school, they taught you Roy G. Biv. That's how I remember it. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That's when you're looking at the chakra systems. But when you're looking at the rainbow, it's inverted. It goes from violet to the highest frequency of visible light, which is red. You know what I'm saying? Also, looking at the rainbow and the visible spectrum of light, I noticed that above red, at higher frequencies, it's infrared. And the lower frequencies is ultraviolet. So it just came to me that, when you're dealing with, we already said that the rainbow represents the physicality, ultimate physicality, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the visible spectrum of light. So it represents the physical realm. So when we talk about ultraviolet, you know what I'm saying? Like MK Ultra, we're talking about an even denser. You're perceiving even more dense frequencies of light outside of this visible spectrum. That's why you see like these Hollywood stars, like they be wigging out. Katy Perry, Beyonce, shit, man. Even damn Cardi B, like you got these videos of them tripping out. Lady Gaga and all them. You know what I'm saying? They got them tuned into like base level frequencies of light, like, you know what I'm saying, base level understanding, like really grounded in dense vibrations. Some crazy stuff going on, man. Once you understand the chakras and the properties of light, and what it has on your DNA. You know what I'm saying? How your chakras are affected by these colors and frequencies and your emotions and, so forth and so on. But we're going to get into this. We're going to get into demystifying the rainbow today. You know what I'm saying? Walk with me, talk with me. All right. Okay. So and pull up my slides. All right. And let's go. So the rainbow can mostly be described as the 7-band visible spectrum of light. You see, on one hand, you have the physical, and on the other end of the rainbow, you have the spiritual, which would be the pot of gold. You know what I'm saying? Or colors of light that you can't see using your two physical eyes. So at one end of the rainbow, you have the physical. On the other end, you have the spiritual or higher frequencies of light that we cannot perceive. Also, at the other end of the rainbow, we have lower frequencies of light that we also cannot perceive unless you see them through like some sort of like mind control, traumatizing. A good movie to watch is Clockwork Orange. It talks about MK Ultra mind control. All right, so in the Bible, in Genesis 9:2-14, it states, and God said, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, the bow shall be seen in the cloud. So that was God saying that. And I'm saying at the end of the flood with Noah, the whole story of Noah, he left the rainbow. Symbolically, it represents a covenant between God and man, that I'll always leave a connection, a way for you to get to me, or a way for mankind to achieve the God mind. Now, in the Bible, it calls the rainbow the bow, or the ark, the bow of Artemis. You know what I'm saying? Diana, the goddess, and her bow and arrow, the bow of Cupid, also. The ark, the golden arcs of McDonald's, the Ark of St. Louis, all have to do with the rainbow. Not only the rainbow, but all have to do with the rainbow as well. Now, okay, so the rainbow is an ancient mystical symbol. It is the mystical bridge in the sky, symbolizing the higher mental plane. Okay. The actual bridge between our higher and lower natures. Your higher nature, which is heaven, and your lower nature, which is earth, physical and spiritual. Like we said, the rainbow is the connection. God is the divine self in heaven, our highest nature. The earth, which is the training ground for the ego, is considered our lower nature. And as we'll see in a moment, the higher mental plane, which is a vehicle for the development of our consciousness, is the natural bridge between these two natures. Okay, so the rainbow is also symbolic of the higher mental plane. Okay, the rainbow is symbolic of the higher mental plane that will be the connection. It is the bridge between your higher nature, which is your God self, and the lower nature. Okay, which is your human self. Okay, so this is what it means when God states, it shall be a token of a covenant between me and the earth. You know what I'm saying? Between the divine and the physical. You see, this is why Trayvon was holding a bag of Skittles. Because it was a message to other Kabbalists that the ritual was done in the spirit of a higher consciousness. It may have been a lower natured act, but it was done in the spirit of higher consciousness to achieve something in the causal plane. To get something done in the causal plane. Now, the higher mental plane is the plane of causal matter, where objective truth about any situation can be instantly perceived. In the causal plane, that's the plane where, okay, so you have the physical plane, which is the ego or the conscious mind. You have the astral plane, which is the subconscious mind. You have the causal plane, which is the unconscious mind. The conscious mind keeps you protected. It keeps you safe. It keeps you alive. The subconscious plane is what records your many lifetimes of memories through emotions. It also creates what you perceive to be reality. It creates your reality. What you perceive to be possible is what your subconscious mind creates. It also communicates to you every night in the astral plane, through your dreams, through symbols. Your unconscious mind is the God mind. It's the causal plane. This is the plane where everything is caused to happen. Things happen instantly. You see, in the astral realm, if you want to travel somewhere, you can fly, you can float. You might even be able to teleport yourself or transport yourself. If you want a cheeseburger, it'll appear there in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Much more easier than in this dense plane, the physical plane. However, in the causal plane, this is where, first of all, when you're born, you notice how no one needs to tell you to search for the breast, for some milk. No one needs to tell you to cry for what you want. No one needs to tell you to blink. No one needs to tell your eyes to stay wet. Things of that nature. That's the unconscious mind. That's the mind of the one, the all, the source. That's the causal plane. That's the plane that causes everything to happen. What happens in the causal plane trickles down to the astral plane and eventually into the physical plane. In my experience, I've been able to manipulate my subconscious mind, and I've been able to access my unconscious mind through repetition, first accessing my subconscious mind until it's so ingrained that in my unconscious mind, in the causal plane, certain things are just like, brushing my teeth to me. Certain things just come to me because I expect them. No, not expect. Not expect. I know them to be so. Like, I know that no matter what, I'm always going to have, because as long as I've been on this planet, I've always had. I've never been without. Even when other people may have perceived I have been a have-not, you know what I'm saying? 11 years in prison, you know what I'm saying? I was in prison, but I never went to the mess hall. I've always been a have. You know what I'm saying? Even them days when I used to hit the block all day, all night, and only come in the house with $80 because wasn't nobody messing with me. You know what I'm saying? They was going to the older guys, and I was just a little guy out there on the block. You know what I'm saying? But I still had a roof over my head. I was sleeping on the floor, but I still had a roof over my head. I still had. You know what I'm saying? These are things that's just, they're in my unconscious mind. I'm a have. I am a have, not a have not. Don't know what it is not to have. I'm saying that's so well ingrained in me, it made it past my subconscious mind. It's a part of my DNA makeup to have. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you some shit, boy. I could tell you some magical shit that I done did, man. To this day, it's still, you know what I'm saying? And I lived it, I done it, and I did it consciously and willingly, knowingly. I pulled off some real magical feats. And I ain't even gonna lie, man. Sometimes I still sit back and I'm like, I still can't believe it. Still can't believe it. In a way that's sort of dangerous because, you know, it can be. Because knowing is what makes it work. Knowing is what makes it work. The doubt is my conscious mind creeping in and trying to kill my magic. Why? I don't know. I don't know why I would want to do that, especially after witnessing that my shit works. It's still a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? It still gets in the way. It still gets in the way. That's the crazy part. You know what I'm saying? But just remember, the thing about that is when you have these habits that you're trying that you need to correct, that you're looking to correct, resistance only makes stronger. So there used to be a time when I used to say, oh man, positive thoughts, positive thoughts, positive thoughts, positive thoughts. Stop judging people, stop judging people, stop judging people, stop judging. You know, and man, the more I consciously put the effort into correcting these behaviors, the harder it was to correct these behaviors. Like I would constantly have these thoughts. I'm saying this was years ago. I'd constantly have these thoughts. I'm saying judging people, negative thoughts, all just this, I'm saying dumb shit. And I'm like, damn, like why am I struggling with it? But it's like lifting weights. The more resistance that you have, the stronger you're gonna make that muscle, or the stronger you're gonna make that habit. So the thing is just to, okay, the thought pops into your head, you don't resist it. It's like, oh, okay, wow, it's there. Cool thought. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I forgot to say thank you for, or the things that I do like about that person is, you see what I'm saying? Replace the thought with the frequency of thought that you want, that you would like to be in. I'm saying, because watching this movie, it was called Arrival. The aliens, they talked in sigils. They talked in like sigils, circles and shit. In the movie, when the lady stared at the sigils, the doctor, she stared at the sigils, she would see like lapses in time. She would see fragments of time, different times. So it's like the sigils were fragments of time that she could, you know, you could tap into that. It's like every single moment. So this is what I got out of that. Every single moment in this existence, in this universe, in numerous universes, every moment, every space has like a GPS location. Every moment in time, what is perceived as time and space has a GPS location. So if I tune in my frequency to the GPS location of abundance, joy, love, if I tune into the frequency of always having that which I desire, well, then guess what? I'll be in that moment in space and time, as long as I'm tuned into that GPS location. So let's move on. All right, so Trayvon. So the higher mental plane is the plane of causal matter where objective truth about any situation can be instantly perceived. It makes sense then that this aspect of the divine self is the bridge that links the Godhead to humanity. Okay. Now, the rainbow appears in the story after Noah's flood, it says in this internet article, because it's God's promise to humanity that the union with the divine can be attained again. The author says the deluge, which was the flood, represented an end to the great ignorance of man's spiritual estate in heaven. The story of Noah and the ark is also a story about higher and lower consciousness, not a literal flood that destroyed every living creature. You can read more about that in the post. Noah, oh, that's the guy's article. I just decided to include that little passage right there because he's speaking allegorically that the flood is a story about higher and lower consciousness. Okay, and the flood represented the end to the great ignorance of man's spiritual estate in heaven. There's many different ways you could look at this. That's the beautiful thing about that, because we can say that it could represent, you know what I'm saying, mankind, and how, you know, he's striving for he has lofty goals in spirituality, which you know, it's going to take a long time for him to achieve. And you know, it could represent that aspect, or it could represent the fall of us, how we fell asleep and how we're in this situation, how the fall of us, you know what I'm saying, and how we ended up in this situation, falling lower and lower and lower into consciousness. Okay, so in the article, it goes on to say, what are some of the ways we can activate consciousness in the higher mental plane? So it says there are two main ways, what the author says. There are two main ways we can cross the bridge of the rainbow and return, like Noah or the god Oro, to the divine realm. One is the active way and the other is the passive way. The active way involves individual pursuits like meditation, visualization, exercises, contemplative prayer, mantras, and conceptual thinking. The passive way, okay, pardon me. All right. The passive way involves forgetting about oneself and serving others. This doesn't just mean giving up your life for someone else or becoming a Mother Teresa. You can serve just by being with someone in a time of need. Every kind act changes the universe and the consciousness therein. All right, so both ways that the author told you that you can achieve, higher consciousness or higher spirituality. You can achieve spirituality through higher consciousness is through meditation, visualization, mantras, things of that nature. Or you can go the helping others route. Either way, there are two different ways, but they're both explaining one way. The chakra, the heart chakra. The rainbow would represent the heart chakra. It would represent Thoth. It would represent the abyss as well. Because when you come to that point is when you realize your connection to everything, your connection to the all. Everything in existence is just an emanation, just one aspect of the all. I'm saying, so knowing that, you would go within and you would, going within, you would see yourself in everything. Once you see yourself in everything, how could you cause harm to yourself? Like, it would put you in a position to want to, you would have more compassion. You would have more compassion towards those that you wouldn't have compassion towards, because you see yourself in them. So the author is really just saying, he's really saying the same thing twice. Now, at the same time, yes, every kind act changes the universe and the consciousness therein. But for every kind act, there must be an equal and opposite hateful act. For every beautiful thing in existence, there is something totally hideous to match it. In the exact degree of beauty, there will be the exact degree of hideousness. But which one is which, really? And to who? Now, that's Hermetic law or universal law. But real quick, there are 7 planes of existence, okay? But understanding that there are no limits to anything, there are actually many more than just 7 planes of existence. There's way more than 7. I'm saying, because we know that limitation is an unnatural concept. It's an unnatural concept. That means that there would have been a limit to how many lives could have been born. There'd have been a limit to how many times it could rain, how many raindrops or how many drops of water could exist on this planet. You know, there is no limit. But we're going to talk about 3. Physical, astral, and causal planes. As I said earlier, which represent the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. See, the rainbow is the gateway to the causal plane, or the plane which causes effects to ripple down to the physical plane. Man, crazy part is, man, I actually accessed the causal plane. That's some mind-blowing shit. You know what I'm saying? And where it happened is even like crazier. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you some stories, man. You know what I'm saying? They threw me in a tomb, man. You know what I'm saying? I got myself there. You know what I'm saying? But you see, getting locked up is like losing your life. You know what I'm saying? When they put the cuffs on you, that's when you got killed. When you in court, going to hearings and shit, that's your wake, the funeral. When you in the hole in the ground and people coming to visit you and they answering your phone calls, that's them coming to your grave, man. Laying flowers on your grave. You know what I'm saying? When they care enough to do that. You know what I'm saying? Who was in the courthouse when you got sentenced? You know what I'm saying? That shows how many people came to your funeral. You know? That's just how I look at things. But when I was in there, that's where I learned how to, you know, I did a lot of time in the hole. You know what I'm saying? Knucklehead. A lot of time in the hole. You know what I'm saying? 23 hours in a cell by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Longest time I did in the hole was 9 months. You know what I mean? And I had some breakthroughs, man. I had some real breakthroughs in there. But the crazy part is I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was visualizing. I was doing mantras. And then I started getting these results I started getting results in my life because my thinking changed. And I knew that it was me getting these results because I was reading about a lot of self-help books. So it was a lot of things that I was doing. I was practicing them, and it was giving me results in tangible results. Tangible results. Now that I've discovered these many years later, now that I've discovered the occult and I can play back, I can see exactly how I made these things happen, how I access my subconscious mind, and how I access my unconscious mind to a degree. To a degree. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not even gonna lie, man. I turned that experience into the best fucking thing that ever happened to me, man. I turned that tomb into a womb. You know what I'm saying? I did that. That was my initiation, man. That was my initiation, bro. It was times where I didn't even think I would have, you know what I'm saying, we was in some situations. I'm saying, didn't even know if I was gonna make it home or not. If I was gonna make it home alive or not. You know what I'm saying? Might have stayed in there for life. Or I might have lost mine in all kinds of situations. But you know what I'm saying? That's another video. We gonna get into that because I can tell you how I did that. And it's some real, it's pretty much like this. Those that were afraid and those that had something, they felt that they had something to lose, usually got plucked off. They fell off by the wayside. But those who felt like me, I gave myself to something. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't an individual anymore. I was something larger than myself. I made myself a part of something. Okay, I realized I came to the point of like, hey man, I'm not even me. You know what I'm saying? When you see me, I represent this. And what I'm talking about is blood. You know what I'm saying? I came to the realization that damn, my homies turned their back on me. My homies. I was blaming everybody, and I realized that, yo, my nigga, you in here, you know what I'm saying? You got jammed up. Niggas turn their back on you, but why? It wasn't them. You only getting out. You're only gonna get out of blood what you put in. I realized that universal law, like I'm only gonna get out what I put in. So I can't blame nobody for getting these screwed up results. So that's when I realized, like, all right, man, you know what? I'm in here for all these years. And it was kind of nihilistic because I was in a point where I didn't even care about myself anymore. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, fuck it, man. I ain't shit. I ain't never gonna be shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm active, nigga. I'm active. Turned up. And I was with the shits. But the strangest thing happened. I love blood. I treat it like it's my family. I'm not gonna mislead, deceive, or abuse any of my brothers, any of my children, my mother, my wife. I wouldn't do that to any of them. So why would I do that to my homies? You know what I'm saying? There's no difference between that family and the family I lived with in the home. There's no difference. So once I started living that, and I loved, and I still love, and everything that I do, I know is right, because the reason I know is right is because I wouldn't do it if you're not looking. I can do it while you're looking or not. You know what I'm saying? I learned principles. I became a principled individual. You know what I'm saying? So in all actuality, some people have religion. Some people have esoteric teaching. I found my spirituality through blood. I was able to be a living example to my homies, so much so that I was thrusted into some sort of, I didn't even want it, but I was put in a leadership position. because of the principles that I live by, one of which was, if I see something done, do it. Don't wait for it to get done. Always do what needs to be done just because it needs to be done. Not for a pat on the back, not because, you know, not for any egotistical reason. Just do it because it needs to be done. It's just one of the rules. And, you know, I started living these principled lives, man. And I started getting, you know, fucking deified or some shit. It was crazy. Total turnaround, total complete turnaround, man. I know what it is to have 50 people looking to me to make the best decision for all of us. Damn, I got carried away like a motherfucker. But I just say that to say this, man. In the unlikely places, you know what I'm saying, because the rainbow also represents out of the darkness comes light. You see, in the most unlikely places, in the darkest of places, is where you're going to find the most brilliant light. Because that's where I found mine, man. In the most despair, the most, in my lowest, man. In my lowest. You know what I'm saying? And it came to me in the most unlikely fashion. Let's continue. The rainbow, also known as the Antakarana or Rainbow Bridge, and its corresponding 7 colors have long held occult significance as a very spiritual hypnotic device. Hypnotic because of its effects on your emotions by way of your chakras. In a book teaching Druidism, the rainbow is described as a true sign of magic. It exists in both worlds at once. In The Wizard of Oz, the novel and the subsequent film of the same name, which was used as mind control fodder for victims of MK Ultra in the 30s, Elvira Gulch is a woman who owns half of the county where Dorothy lives in Kansas. She is shown later in the Land of Oz transformed as a witch. Many of the Illuminati, elite or rich, and lead double lives, people who meet them at a ritual with... Yeah, skip all that. Okay, so the song, at the rituals, people are tranced from drugs, chanting, and mind control. They are over the rainbow. So that term, over the rainbow, means when they, you know, when these people have achieved spirituality. See, that's how MK Ultra works. You know what I'm saying? It's a perceived spirituality, okay, because of the drugs and the chanting and, you know, psychotropic drugs and shit like that. You think that you've achieved a spiritual, you know what I'm saying, type of consciousness. However, yeah, you are seeing outside of the visible spectrum of light, but it's at a ultraviolet level, low, very low frequency, low dense, I'm saying low level of light. Now, a rainbow is also seen as a symbol of peace. All over the world, we see the sign of a rainbow as an indication of light out of darkness. A modern example is the gay pride flag. No longer do LGBTs have to hide their identity. All right. So out of darkness comes light. You know what I'm saying? They chose that because they no longer have to hide who they are. Now, the LGBT flag has the colors of the rainbow inverted from the chakra system, just like the visible spectrum of light, as we mentioned. The rainbow with the red root chakra at the top and the violet crown chakra at the bottom symbolizes a survival base and a very dense frequency of thought, dealing with the physical over the spiritual. So the gay pride flag, you know, it's pretty much it's rooted in this physical realm. You know what I'm saying? Symbolized by the rainbow. It's very, very human. In other words, to be human is to be attached to the physical plane, to love all things that this physical world has to offer. Each color in the rainbow represents a chakra, which are energy wheels, emotional energy wheels located along the spine. These energy centers can be manipulated through color and sound frequencies. You can do this yourself. You can manipulate your chakras yourself, keep them aligned, keep them in tune, have them running in tip-top condition, which will have you well-rounded, spiritually, well-balanced. Or these chakras can be manipulated for you and without your knowledge. Such as the reason why corporations choose the colors that they do for their logos. And, the pictures that are shown to you and in movies. A person that was really advanced in this type of science with chakra science and MK mind control and, flashing colors, images, and sounds was Walt Disney. Now, the arc of the rainbow is 42 degrees. Now, when I heard that, Jackie Robinson just popped into my head. 42, the movie 42. I'm not gonna pull any straws on that one. It just says that the rainbow has 42 degrees, and I remember that movie with Jackie Robinson. And I know that nothing is a coincidence. It doesn't exist. Now, also, Nut is in the form of an arc over Geb. The marriage of both Nut and Geb would grant you access to the beyond. Also, one of the most intense references to the rainbow is found in Hindu and Buddhist Tantra. Apparently, those who have surpassed their earthly ties are in a position to achieve the highest meditative state. So those who have surpassed their earthly ties, once you disconnect yourself, like Osiris, you dismember yourself from the physical world. Now you're in a place where you can experience the rainbow body, which is a body of light when ultimate ascension has been reached. I'm saying, so it's been said that once you reach ultimate ascension, you turn into a light being. You can leave this realm at will. You could come back. You like Lucy, the movie Lucy, how she could turn into anybody. She could speed up her metabolism, slow it down. She could disappear or end up on the other end of the earth. Or I'm saying she could end up in another universe. And eventually, she said she was everywhere. She turned into melanin, and he said, Morgan Freeman said, "Where are you?" She said, "Everywhere." Okay. So that was touching on the rainbow body. Right before she be turned into straight melanin, she was a rainbow body, a body of light. Now, they say the rainbow body phenomenon is an ultimate oneness and typically happens at the time of death. Also, in Chinese wisdom, the rainbow is a bridge illustrated by a double-headed dragon. This sky dragon is the mediator between heaven and earth. With two heads, the rainbow dragon is able to intercede on behalf of the people by relaying their thoughts and prayers from the earthbound head and sending them to the head pointed heavenwards. That reminds me of something I saw some of the pyramids in Cambodia, Angkor Wats. And Angkor Wats, the same way the pyramids of Giza are lined up exactly with the Sirius star system. Angkor Wats, their pyramids in Cambodia are lined up exactly with the Draco star system. And in Angkor Wats, you see the statues. They're holding on on in the depictions, you have a bunch of deities holding they're each holding a end of a serpent, and they're going in opposite directions. You have God, was it 54 deities or 52 deities going in one direction, and another 52 going in 54 going in the opposite direction. One represented the evil, the other side represented the good, and it showed how these two forces cannot they cannot exist without each other, because the movement back and forth of this great serpent is what makes the waters, the primordial waters, churn, is what actually makes the universe exist, because we already established it. You can't wash clothes without friction. Nothing exists without tension. Positive and negative is necessary. One can't exist without the other. All right. The rainbow is also symbolic of the yin and yang in Chinese legend. In this sense, the Chinese recognize 5 colors in the rainbow, and harmonized, they represent perfect balance. You see, the symbolic meaning of rainbows as a celestial bridge is in Old Norse traditions too. This bridge is referred to as Bifrost from the Thor movies. With Idris Elba, he was the guardian of the bridge. This rainbow bridge spanned into the world of the gods, and it was called the Tremulous Way to Asgard. The troublesome, the tremulous way. You know what I'm saying? It's a rocky road. You know what I'm saying? You see, the rainbow is symbolically a bridge. The pot of gold at the end is when you become one with the source. Okay, when you become one with the source. Okay. All right. So there we have it. I want to thank y'all for kicking it with me. You know what I'm saying? Brother Briz, Abode of Sun Moon. I holla.